Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wonder why we sometimes act in ways that uh, don't quite make sense, even to ourselves?
Yeah, it's a common thing.
Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of defense mechanisms.
Those psychological strategies our minds use, sort of like shields.
Exactly, shields against uncomfortable truths, anxieties. Think of this as your quick guide, a shortcut to understanding these hidden protectors.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be looking at quite a few based on the material you shared. Things like repression, denial,
Projection, displacement, what else?
rationalization, sublimation, regression, and reaction formation. Quite the list.
It is. But the goal isn't just listing them, right? It's about understanding their role.
Absolutely. How they play out in our daily lives, often without us even noticing.
Okay, so let's start broad. What are defense mechanisms at their core? What's their main job?
Well, simply put, they're unconscious psychological tactics.
Unconscious, so we don't even know we're doing them.
Often, no. They kick in automatically to shield us from emotional pain or maybe anxiety or thoughts and feelings we just find unacceptable.
Like mental shock absorbers. You mentioned that idea.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah. They cushion the blow when things get psychologically bumpy.
Okay, mental shock absorbers. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's get specific then. Repression. What does that actually look like?
Repression is basically the mind unconsciously pushing away distressing thoughts, feelings, or memories.
Pushing them out of conscious awareness.
Exactly. It's not like deliberately trying to forget something. It's more like your mind automatically files it away somewhere you can't easily access it.
Hidden from us, but maybe still influencing us somehow.
Oh, definitely. It can still bubble up in indirect ways.
Okay. Then there's denial. That one seems more straightforward.
Yeah,
Just refusing to accept reality.
precisely. Denial is when someone rejects facts or truths that are just too painful or difficult to handle.
Like not acknowledging a serious illness, maybe.
That's a classic example, yes. Or ignoring obvious signs of a problem in a relationship.
Got it. Now projection. This sounds like pointing a finger, blaming others for our own issues.
It's a pretty good way to put it, yeah. Projection means you take your own unacceptable feelings or impulses and, well, you attribute them to someone else.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Like, if you're secretly feeling really insecure, you might constantly accuse the people around you of being insecure or judging you.
Ah, the old switcheroo. Okay, what about displacement? That one sounds messy, like taking your bad day out on the dog.
Basically, yes. Displacement is redirecting your emotions, often anger or frustration from the original source, onto a different target.
A safer target, usually.
Usually, yes, a less threatening one, so that anger at your boss might get taken out on a family member or, yeah, even the dog.
Makes sense. Unfair, but understandable.
Mhm.
Okay, rationalization, that's making excuses, right? Spinning things.
Absolutely. Rationalization is when we come up with seemingly logical-sounding explanations to justify behavior or feelings that are actually unacceptable or uncomfortable.
Why do we do that?
It helps protect our self-esteem, makes us feel better about what we did or how we feel.
Like saying you had to buy those really expensive shoes because they were, an investment.
Exactly like that. Perfect example.
All right. Sublimation. Now, this one sounds a bit different, maybe more positive.
It often is, yes. Sublimation is considered a more mature defense mechanism.
How does it work?
It's about channeling unacceptable impulses, maybe aggression, or other strong drives into activities that are socially acceptable, even admired.
So, like someone with aggressive feelings becoming a competitive athlete.
Precisely. Or channeling complex emotions into creating art or music. The potentially harmful energy finds a constructive outlet.
That's quite adaptive. Okay, then we have regression. This sounds like going backward.
That's the gist of it. Regression is reverting to earlier, maybe more childish stages of development, especially when you're facing stress or anxiety.
Like an adult throwing a temper tantrum when things don't go their way.
Exactly. Or maybe becoming overly dependent when feeling overwhelmed. It's falling back on older coping strategies.
Okay, last one on our list. Reaction formation. You said this was kind of ironic.
It really is. Reaction formation is behaving in a way that's the complete opposite of how you truly feel.
The opposite. How so?
Well, imagine someone who is secretly, unconsciously attracted to a person they think they shouldn't like. They might act overly hostile or critical towards that person.
Wow, so going overboard in the other direction to hide the real feeling deep down.
That's the idea. It masks the true emotion by exaggerating the opposite one.
We've covered a lot of ground here, these different mental maneuvers. Stepping back, what's the big picture? Why do we even have these mechanisms?
Fundamentally, their purpose is protection. shielding our psychological self, our ego, from things that feel overwhelming.
Like too much anxiety or guilt or other difficult emotions.
Exactly. They help us maintain a sense of balance, keep functioning day to day, even if that balance sometimes relies on, let's say, a slightly distorted view of reality.
And it's fascinating how universal they are. We all do this.
To varying degrees, yes. They're a normal part of human psychology, often operating completely under the radar of our conscious mind.
Okay, so summing up, the key takeaway seems to be that these defense mechanisms are common, maybe even necessary, strategies we all use, our minds trying to cope.
Trying to protect us, yeah. Coping with challenging emotions, difficult situations. It's the mind's toolkit for managing internal conflict and external stress.
Even if they aren't always the healthiest long-term solutions sometimes.
That's true. Some are more adaptive than others, but they all serve a purpose, at least initially.
Right, they help us get by.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about them, it really prompts an interesting question for you, for anyone listening.
Which is,
Where might you notice these mechanisms playing out? Maybe in your own reactions, your own thoughts, or perhaps in the behavior of people around you.
thinking about where we see denial or rationalization.
Or projection, or any of them, just observing them without judgment can be a really powerful first step. What could we actually gain by recognizing these hidden strategies, both in ourselves and, in the wider world? Something to think about.